Hey guys, so we got a quick first look here on some benchmarking tests, the new Transformer Prime, the first quad-core tablet versus the iPad 2. So these tests are maybe not the best, right now, but yeah, that's what we have right now. We have three different tests that SlashGear has been doing. First two are basically browser tests, and that's like testing milliseconds of JavaScript, so may not be that interesting, but still kind of interesting to compare it against the first transformer, because that they also tested that one out. And then we also have another test here with the browser mark, which higher score is better. And then they also made the most interesting test is the GL benchmarking test 2.1 that was testing out like the GPUs. So when they start off with the browser test, it's basically the Sun Spider test. And if we look here on milliseconds, we can see that the Transformer Prime got 1685 milliseconds, the iPad 2 1800 milliseconds, and the first Transformer Prime 2200 milliseconds. Now, these are things that you won't be able to see when you're browsing. Won't be like a difference or something like that. So I mean, okay, the Transform Prime, yes, it's a little better, but you have to probably try these things multiple times to get a good score. I'm sure if they did that. And then we also have another browser test here, browser mark. The Transform Prime, the quad-core tab, beats the iPad 2 slightly by getting a score of 100,960 versus the iPad 2 that got 98,437, and the first Transformer 80,000. And then we have the OpenGL, or no, the GL benchmarking test 2.1 that's available both in iOS and Android. And here we can actually see that the iPad 2 is still the winner. It getting, in first the GL benchmark 2.1 Egypt test, it gets 9,827 frames, while the Transformer Prime is getting 6,800 frames. And on the other test here, the benchmarking 2.1 Pro, the iPad 2 gets 7,490 frames versus the Transform Prime that gets 3,634 frames. So I mean, this is very interesting, and these tests aren't the best right now, because there are multiple things that you have to consider. First of all, I think that the Transform Prime is currently running on Honeycomb Android 3.1 or something like that, and I'm not even sure if they have optimized it to use quad core. And I mean, browser tests, that's like you use a single core. I want to see more tests like in gaming, real performance and stuff like that. And what I've seen, Android 4.0 Ice Cream Sam should come with more hardware acceleration. So I'm not just protecting the Transform Prime right now. The iPad 2 is better in this test, the GL benchmarking test, and it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen. A Android 3.1 versus the Android 4.0. See how how that would change the performance. But I also want to see some real performance like in gaming, because we've seen that the quad core should be kind of good in that. I also want to see test the multitasking. I mean, with quad core you should be able to have a ton of stuff up and running, and because it's a lot of power behind that. And the iOS, it's definitely really extremely awesomely optimized, but Android is getting up there. I mean, if you look at the GL benchmarking test here on the first transformer that we got like this year, on the Egypt test it got 2,600 frames, while the Transform Prime got almost 7K. On the Pro test, the first transformer pad, ASUS ePad, got 2,000 frames versus the Transformer Prime that doubled that, like 3,600. So it almost doubled that. So I mean, the Android tablets and the GPUs and everything, it's getting up there, and Apple, they need to continue to do stuff and innovate, or else they will get paused. But it's gonna be interesting to see when these tests more things pop up. Also, what you should remember is that there's some things here like First of all, the Transformer Prime has a little high resolution, and that's also that's something that you should consider. 1280 by 800 versus the iPad 2 that comes with a 768 times 1024 resolution. So I mean, it's gonna be an interesting year next year, and also to see other quad-core tablet, to see what kind of specs they are going to get, and everything. So we have an interesting tablet year 2012 coming up, and yeah, see.